Welcome back to the Real Frame Reviews. I'm Scott, and today we are reviewing A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, that dude from The Office, starring John Krasinski, that dude from The Office, also his wife, Emily Blunt, and Millicent Simmons, and also Noah Jupe. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This movie is about a family that is living out in the not so distant future, and they have to be completely silent because if they don't, these monster alien creatures with really great hearing will come out of nowhere and swoop and get them. And that's what happens in this movie if you make a freaking noise. And my first thought is, while I'm watching the first few minutes, is, dude, what if you got a rip? Like, what if you got a fart? What happens? I mean, they just come in and take you, or what? Like, the noises that you can't control, or can you? I feel like they'd have a lot of stomach aches in that realm. Anyways, look, let's just unload the stuff that you're obviously going to agree with me about coming out of this movie. The sound design, of course, like every single person that would go to see this movie would say, it is stupendous. It's absolutely flawless. The sound or lack thereof at moments is excellently done. The way they amplify noise of things like, like we drop our phone, and imagine that being amplified, to the nth degree, and then, having to face the repercussions of that. But it's different things like that. Get out of here, you little bastard. That's a cat running around. But that's the kind of things that they have to face in this world. Again, that sound design is absolutely flawless. Next, the acting is superb. You are not going to get, to me, I feel so involved in the family because of the relationships that they have. This story isn't heavily themed, but you still get the themes of sort of regret and, hindsight and, just a family's problem. Hey, Dan, what's up, buddy? He wanted to be in there. He was down there if you didn't see it. And what happens throughout this movie is you really get to feel intimate with these relationships because you are, because of the acting, actually. Not you are. The acting is so good. But a lot of this has to do with the way that the movie is shot. A lot of the times what you're going to get is focus just on the family. So even when they're walking in a single file line and you think that the sides of the frame would be nice, crisp, and clear, it's not. It's just focused on that single file line family. There's a lot of medium close-ups. There's a lot of tight close-ups. And that really makes you, really personal with the actors and the characters. And that's what it's all about. Because to be honest with you, we don't know much about these aliens as much as they know. That's what we know. So you have to be aware when you're watching this movie, looking around and seeing all the little bits of information that are hung up on the wall, or maybe passed off in a light conversation. Those are the kinds of things that you have to be aware, and I think this movie does that absolutely phenomenally. Going forward, I mean, obviously the cinematography has a lot to do with that, and just the way that the family's house is set up. It's so elaborate and it's so well schemed, and it's all that kind of stuff that's really great. And this movie flies by, man. This is 90 minutes, and I could feel myself twisting and turning in my seat and leaning forward, my hand over my mouth, everything like that that's going to get you into this mood. And this is what this movie does really well. I don't think anybody coming out of this movie would disagree with me. Here's where we differ. I don't find this movie scary. I find this very, very thrilling. I find it very uneasy at times. It could be scary if I was put in the situation, but scary to me is if you're telling me this movie is scary, man. I'm thinking like Exorcist scary. I'm thinking about, things that sort of pop up, like horror movie type scary, where, that stuff's going to freak me out. This stuff, not so much, because there was a deep connection with the characters. I did care for them, but then I also thought to myself too, like, there's no way this is going to happen. That's just my mind working. There's no way this is going to happen. This can't happen. But what they do really well is once you get to that moment in time where you're saying to yourself, "Oh, this can't happen," then they bam cut to another thing, and then you're like, "Oh my god, I'm into it again. Now I'm really scared," and you don't really kind of feel that uneasiness until maybe they flip away from that action going on. But again, I wouldn't call this movie scary. It's very thrilling. It's very uneasy. There's nothing that's gonna make you scared. It's not gonna jump out and pop out and get you. The next thing is something that I've been battling since I've gotten back from this movie, and I've been sort of running this through my head, is that I don't feel like I feel like this is a very, very nice, tight script, but because of some of the things that they don't tell you, then your mind starts running away with the things that you have to sort of piece together yourself. Like, where are they getting electricity from? If these things are really that good with hearing, how can they not hear some situations that are happening? You get what I mean? And then other things, some light things will all of a sudden set the animals off or the aliens off. And it's like, I just don't know. I think maybe in that instance that wouldn't have happened, or it's not that I really care because I was in the movie. It didn't take me out. It's just thinking about it. It's like, yeah, but really, could you do that? And I talked in the last review I did for Blockers. Is there a certain sense of disbelief? And going into this, you sort of make a pact with the filmmakers and everything that say, hey, this is a movie about X. And in the movie about X, you have to give us certain liberties at times, and I'm able to do that. And it just gets to the point where they're not really talking a lot about the technology that's going into it. It's just about sometimes you're thinking to yourself, there's like maybe a brief moment, and like a lapse in action or something. You're thinking to yourself, really, would that work? But I do have to say something about John Krasinski and his directing. I think what he does really well, and a lot of these movies that we see today are a lot of tell and not show. What he does so well in this movie is it's a lot of show, don't tell. In the first few minutes, almost that first entire act, there is nothing that's spoken very loudly of dialogue or anything like that. So you're sort of piecing together different things that's happening. Something that's wrong with the kid. Something that has been wrong with the daughter for this amount of time. You're piecing this together as you're getting closer and closer with the family. And that actually makes you, or at least that's how I feel, is it makes you closer with the characters. And I think that is a very, very well done job. Now, this is where, in my rating, I get a little bit confused. To me, like a Blockers was a 3, and I went into that movie thinking to myself, I don't think this movie's going to be that good, and it really was. It made me laugh. I had a good time in it, and it was good. That was a 3-star. Now we get to the spectrum of what constitutes a 3.5-star or 4-star movie. 4-star movies to me are a Godfather Part 2. To me, that's going to be a Wizard of Oz. Films that you can dissect, or Lord of the Rings for me, films that you can dissect and sort of break them down in a different way and find errors. I don't believe that any one film is flawless, but in my rating, I'm going to go off of how I was impacted by this. And there were scenes in this movie that were actually gut-wrenching when I wasn't expecting that. And for me, I would say that this is mostly a solid 3 out of 4 stars. But I'm going to go out on a limb and think that maybe this movie is going to be a lot better than what I think. Almost like a movie where, I'm going to go back to early and often, and just see it more and more and really just sort of submerge myself in it and maybe pick up on some more things. So right now, obviously, I hold all the cards and switching around my decisions of stars and everything like that. So right now I'm gonna go with a very solid 3 out of 4. I mean, this is top of the spectrum, 3 out of 4. I really enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it as well too. And let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you hate the review or the stars that I just gave it. But like, subscribe, comment. Thank you guys so much. Bye.